Okay, somebody is sawing or something next door, and it sounds just like when the garage door to my house opens, and I'm home alone right now. My people aren't supposed to be back for another hour, and it's been happening for like 2 hours, and I keep thinking someone's opening the garage door and it's about to kill me, and I'm not a fan. Okay, hey guys, so today's video, I'm kind of annoyed while filming this because I actually filmed this intro about a month ago, I want to say. I had the video edited and ready to go, and then the one file of me introducing the video got corrupted and got lost, and I haven't been able to post the video because I haven't had an intro, and I just want to do an intro, and I'm just annoyed because I've already done this. But here I am. Anyway, so I really love the way watercolor looks, and I really love the effects that you can get with watercolor, but I really hate working with watercolor. To be fair, I haven't worked with watercolor for, I want to say 5 or 6 years. I used to work in it a lot, and I took formal art lessons, I guess, specifically in watercolor outside of school. I've done some pretty cool stuff with it, but it's just so annoying to work with. You really have to plan and know what you're doing going into a project to make sure everything looks right. You have to layer to get colors right, and you can't use white. You have to just not paint where you want it to be white, and black is frowned upon, and it's just hard. So ever since I found color pencils, I have not touched watercolor, and I have not wanted to touch watercolor, but I've started to watch a lot of art related content on YouTube. I've been seeing a lot of watercolor artists because I love to watch the process of watercolor being painted. I just don't like to do it myself. A lot of watercolor artists that I watch use gouache, and I've heard of gouache, but I didn't really know what it was. So I did some research on it, and it's pretty much opaque watercolor. It's like a mixture between acrylic paint and watercolor paint. I have worked extensively in acrylic paint also. This big piece up here I did in high school is acrylic. I'm the kind of person that when I find something that works for me, I stick to it. I don't deviate from what's easy and what I'm good at. And I want to change that. I've never worked in oil paint before. I've never worked in gouache. I'm very inexperienced in graphite and charcoals and oil pastels or any sort of chalk pastels, anything like that. So I wanted to do a whole series on my channel where I'm experimenting with mediums that I'm either inexperienced with or that I've never used before, and just kind of like follow the journey of me learning how to use these things and getting out of my comfort zone. So I thought it would be the perfect time to experiment with some gouache and see what I can do with it. So like I said, this was filmed about a month ago. I've already experimented with it. I already know what happens, but I'll let you watch the video and then I'll get back to you on how I feel about it.
Shit, man, I feel lost, dude. At least something. Piece of shit fucking radio, man. God damn it. Fuck, won't work.
Mo.
dude. At least something. Piece of shit fucking radio, man. God damn it. Fuck, won't work.
Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious that this is my first time working in that medium. In my opinion, they go from worst to best in the order that I painted them. So this is the first one I did. I really like this one, and people don't seem to like it as much as I like it. What I really like about it is the combinations of colors. Clouds are really hard, and I've always struggled with clouds. I hate painting clouds. That's why I was like, you know what would be great? The first time I ever used this medium in my entire life, let me paint the thing I hate to paint the most. I don't know why I did that. I love the way clouds look. I'm always attracted to reference pictures of clouds because I love it so much, and then I can never paint them the way they actually look. But I tried, and from far away, I mean, it looks pretty good. And when it's paired with the other pictures, they all four kind of go together, and I love the way that they all look cohesively. So that's the first one. This is the second one. I don't know what I was thinking when I was picking these reference pictures. I lost my freaking mind. I don't know what I thought I was gonna be able to do. Again, from far away, looks great. Up close, I mean, this is the next one I did. I really like how this came out. These clouds, a little bit more realistic of an attempt. This is, you know, these clouds are attainable, and I was able to attain them. I really liked the contrast of color and beautiful sky reflecting into the river, but then the contrast of the dark mountain and the white snow. And then this is the last one I did. This is by far my favorite because of the combination of colors, and it has everything. It has the deep blues that I love. It has these orangey peachies that I love. It has clouds. It has the stars and a little baby moon up there. I love how it turned out. I wouldn't change anything about it. It's great. Here, the clouds are painted with white gouache. And here, the snow on the mountains is white gouache. But when I wanted a pure white, I used the acrylic paint. So for this snow, when I blocked off the snow, I used acrylic paint and then put a little bit of gouache on top of it to get that gray effect, that shading. And then for these stars and the moon, I used acrylic paint because I wanted a pure white. I had a pretty positive experience with gouache, at least for the first attempt. I haven't used it since. It's been a month because I haven't had time. I haven't really been home all that much. I like it a lot better than watercolor. To be fair, I haven't used watercolor in 6 years. So I'd like to do another one of these videos with watercolor and see how it compares with having used watercolor recently, because I'm really only comparing the two with the watercolor I've used in years past. The one complaint that I do have about the gouache that I would say watercolor is better at is how color fast watercolor is. It has such rich and vibrant colors, and you're able to get such beautiful colors with watercolor, which I think is one of the reasons I like it the most. How am I trying to say this? I would consider what gouache is to watercolor the same as what acrylic paint is to oil paint. It just has a little bit less oomph to it, even though it's easier to use. So if you look at this one, if you look up close, it's really hard to tell on camera because these look really good on camera. It's just a little bit chalky. The really dark colors come out kind of chalky, and they're just not as vibrant as they could be. It's almost like when you put the gouache on the paper, it looks like watercolor, and it's very richly colored, and then as it dries, it gets this chalkiness to it, and it even feels kind of chalky when you touch it. I'll put in a clip from when I was painting this sunset because you can really see it. It looks really rich when I paint it, and then it dries and it just loses all of its saturation. That's the only complaint I have about the gouache compared to the watercolor. It's so much easier to use. You can use black, you can use white, you can go over stuff because it's opaque. You know, watercolor is clear, so if you put a dark line somewhere and then you don't want it there anymore, it's really hard to get rid of that dark line, whereas gouache, it's opaque. So if you put a dark line and then you're like, oh, I want that to be a little bit lighter, you can kind of put light paint on top of it and it'll cover the dark paint underneath. Explore more and experiment more with it. So if that's something that y'all would like to see from me, let me know in the comments below, like this video, all of that stuff, and let me know which of these 4 is your favorite. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.